Okay, it's live now on YouTube. All right, beautiful people. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. Tiffany, yes, sis. The ball game got me. I was tired. Tired, right? Out there huffing and puffing. You see me? Should have seen me. We stopped holding the camera. We actually recorded a video before that. We actually played 2 games. That's why I was super tired. The first game we got, when I went to play it, it said 56 minutes. I'm like, 56 minutes? I know we was only playing for like what? Maybe 10 minutes. He hit the the slow-mo button. Jeremiah was recording. He hit it by mistake. He was recording it regular when it started, and he was using the iPad to record it and didn't realize his finger had slipped over the controls, and it switched it to slow-mo. So like the first minute of the game is a regular speed. Then once I get the ball, I start slowing down. I'm like, wait a minute, what did you do? So look, and I crossed up James Nasty in there, so I'm gonna have to do a little clip with the slow mo part when I crossed him up. Y'all hear him? He's like, "And you crossed him up, Joy, shallow wow." Yeah, y'all. So we had fun. So a couple people asked what was that. We're actually surprising my husband's mom for her birthday. So, and we just kind of showed up. We surprised her for her birthday. We showed up. Yeah. So, all right, y'all. Trina, hey girl, hey. Okay, y'all. Hold on, pulling my stuff up here. Oh, time zone change. Y'all, Uncle Nathaniel, peaceful greetings. Forgive me for my hour lateness. It's still the 7 o'clock hour here, right? What happened was I didn't update my clock on my phone. So I'll be doing the videos at 6 a.m. Uh, Midwest time. Y'all will still be on Eastern time. So I'll be up an hour earlier. That I forgot. That's why we're an hour late today. I'm so sorry. So sorry. What'd you say? You don't say about your clock you didn't set. No, I didn't set my alarm clock back. Right. Yeah, I didn't move my alarm clock back. Yeah. I didn't realize it till when I was getting the stuff ready. I looked at my phone, looked at my messages. My mom was like, "No live today?" I'm like, "No live today?" Yeah. Then I thought about it. Time zone change. So my bad, y'all. My bad. All right. So let's get going. I'm already an hour late. Y'all probably gotta go to work. If y'all not already at work, look, if y'all at work, go ahead and get Caesar what belong to him, right? Listen, babe, I'm gonna tell him, Deech. I'm gonna tell him what you said. Hold on. He's talking on the phone. Hold on, y'all. Let me pull this up. I'm gonna tell him what you said, Deech, in a second. Hold on. Okay, y'all. We probably play another couple games while we're here. I'm gonna beat him. I give him that last one. I let him win. Okay, y'all. Let me pull this up real quick. Where we at today? 37, y'all. I ain't even do my little opening. It is Friday, y'all. October the 15th. I ain't put my stuff over here either. October the 15th, 2021. Day 279 of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets. Another 3-year consecutive. They count. Day 948. Right? Today we're reading Job 37, 38, and 39. We're going to pick up in Caesar's side where we left off at on page 351. That's chapter 14. Wait, no, we finished 14, didn't we? Hold on. I think we finished 14. I think we're starting at 15. Yeah, I'm sorry. We're starting at chapter 15, page 353. All right, y'all. Babe, Dietrich said, hold on. He said to me, he said, you gotta make Snoop shoot and keep him out the paint. That's how I used to beat him all the time. That's what's up. Okay, y'all. All right, so let's do the Shema. Jolie, what's up, bro? Okay, y'all, I'm gonna pull this up. Okay, y'all. Remember, the Shema is found in Deuteronomy chapter 6, starting at verse 3. Mom, shalom, shalom. Hear, therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with you, and that you may increase mightily, as Yahuwah, the mighty one of our fathers, has promised, in a land that flows with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah, our mighty one, he is one. And you shall love Yahuwah, your mighty one, with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart. And you shall teach them diligently unto your children. And you shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them upon the posts of your house and on your gates. And Yahuwah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Yahuwah, our mighty one, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahuwah, our mighty one, as he has commanded us. Shayla, hey girl, hey. All right, y'all. So let's get right to it. We late because I forgot about my time zone change. All right, y'all. Job chapter 37. My heart pounds as I think of this. It trembles within me. Listen carefully to the thunder of Yah's voice as it rolls from his mouth. It rolls across the heavens, and his lightning flashes in every direction. Then comes the roaring of the thunder, the tremendous voice of his majesty. He does not restrain it when he speaks. Yahuwah's voice is glorious in the thunder. We can't even imagine the greatness of his power. He directs the snow to fall on the earth and tells the rain to pour down. Then everyone stops working so they can watch his power. The wild animals take cover and stay inside their dens. The stormy wind comes from its chamber, and the driving wind brings the cold. Yahuwah's breath sends the ice, freezing wide expanses of water. He loads the clouds with moisture, and they flash with his lightning. The clouds churn about at his direction. They do whatever he commands throughout the earth. He makes these things happen either to punish people or to show his unfailing love. Pay attention to this, Job. Stop and consider the wonderful miracles of Yahuwah. Do you know how Yahuwah controls the storm and causes the lightning to flash from his clouds? Do you understand how he moves the clouds with wonderful perfection and skill? When you are sweltering in your clothes, the south wind dies down and everything is still. He makes the skies reflect the heat like a bronze mirror. Can you do that? So teach the rest of us what to say to Yah. We are too ignorant to make our own arguments. Should Yah be notified that I want to speak? Can people even speak when they are confused? We cannot look at the sun, for it shines brightly in the sky when the wind clears away the clouds. So also, golden splendor comes from the mountain of Yahuwah. He is clothed in dazzling splendor. We cannot imagine the power of the Almighty. But even though he is just and righteous, he does not destroy us. No wonder people everywhere fear him. All who are wise show him reverence. Next chapter, Job. Hold on. Job chapter 38. Yahuwah challenges Job. Then Yahuwah answered Job from the whirlwind. Who is this that questions my wisdom with such ignorant words? Brace yourself like a man, because I have some questions for you, and you must answer them. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me if you know so much. Who determined its dimensions and stretched out the surveying line? What supports its foundations and who laid its cornerstone as the morning stars sang together and all the angels shouted for joy? Who kept the sea inside its boundaries as it burst from the womb, and as I clothed it with clouds and wrapped it in thick darkness, for I locked it behind barred gates, limiting its shores. I said, this far and no farther will you come. Here your proud waves must stop. Have, have you ever commanded the morning to appear and caused the dawn to rise in the east? Have you made daylight spread to the ends of the earth to bring an end to the night's wickedness? As the light approaches, the earth takes shape like clay pressed beneath a seal. It is robed in brilliant colors. The light disturbs the wicked and stops the arm that is raised in violence. Have you explored the springs from which the seas come? Have you explored their depths? Do you know where the gates of death are located? Have you seen the gates of utter gloom? Do you realize the extent of the earth? Tell me about it if you know. Where does light come from? And where does darkness go? Can you take each to its home? Do you know how to get there? But of course, you know all this, for you were born before it was all created, and you were so very experienced. Have you visited the storehouses of the snow or seen the storehouses of hail? I have reserved them as weapons for the time of trouble, for the day of battle and war. Where is the path to the source of light? Where is the home of the east wind? Who created it for the torrents of rain? I'm sorry, who created a channel for the torrents of rain? Who laid out the path for the lightning? Who makes the rain fall on barren land in a desert where no one lives? Who sends rain to satisfy the parched ground and make the tender grass spring up? Does the rain have a father? Who gives birth to the dew? Who is the mother of the ice? Who gives birth to the frost from the heavens? For the water turns to ice, for the water turns to ice as hard as a rock and the surface of the water freezes. Can you direct the movement of the stars, binding the clusters of the Pleiades or loosening the cords of Orion? Can you direct the constellation through the seasons or guide the bear with her cubs across the heavens? Do you know the laws of the universe? Can you use them to regulate the earth? Can you shoot to the clouds and make it rain? Can you make lightning appear and cause it to strike as you direct? Who gives intuition to the heart and instinct to the mind? Who is wise enough to count all the clouds? Who can tilt the water jars of heaven when the parched ground is dry and the soil has hardened into clods? Can you stalk prey for a lioness and satisfy the young lion's appetite as they lie in their dens or crouch in a thicket? Who provides food for the ravens when their young cry out to Yah and wander about in hunger? Last chapter for the day, y'all. Job chapter 39. Yahuwah's challenge continues. Bless the most holy. Do you know when the wild goats give birth? Have you watched as deer are born in the wild? Do you know how many months they carry their young? Are you aware of their time of delivery? They crouch down to give birth to their young and deliver their offspring. Their young grow up in the open fields, then leave their home and never return. Who gives the wild donkey its freedom? Who untied its ropes? I have placed it in the wilderness. Its home is the wasteland. It hates the noise of the city and has no driver to shout at it. The mountains are its pasture lands, where it searches for every blade of grass. Will the wild ox consent to be tamed? Will it spend the night in your stall? Can you hitch a wild ox to a plow? Will it plow a field for you? Given its strength, can you trust it? Can you leave and trust the ox to do your work? Can you rely on it to bring home your grain and deliver it to your threshing floor? The ostrich flaps her wings grandly, but they are no match for the feathers of the stork. She lays her eggs on top of the earth, letting them be warmed in the dust. She doesn't worry that a foot might crush them or a wild animal might destroy them. She is harsh toward her young, as if they were not even her own. She doesn't care if they die. For Yahuwah has deprived her of wisdom. He has given her no understanding. But whenever she jumps up to run, she passes the swiftest horse with its rider. Have you given the horse its strength, or clothed its neck with a flowing mane? Did you give it the ability to leap like a locust? Its majestic snorting is terrifying. It paws the earth and rejoices in its strength when it charges out to battle. It laughs at fear and is unafraid. It does not run from the sword. The arrows rattle against it, and the spear and javelin flash. It paws the ground fiercely and rushes forward into battle when the ram's horn blows. It snorts at the sound of the horn. It senses the battle in the distance. It quivers at the captain's command and the noise of battle. Is your wisdom that is it your wisdom that makes the hawk soar and spread its wings toward the south? Is it at your command that the eagle rises to the heights to make its nest? It lives on the cliffs, making its home on a distant rocky crag. From there, it hunts its prey, keeping watch with piercing eyes. Its young gulps down blood. Where there's a carcass, there you'll find it. And that, my beautiful people, is our reading for today. That was Job 37, 38, and 39. And we'll actually be finishing the book of Job tomorrow. Right, I know, Tiff. Now, I love when y'all begins to speak here. All right, so let me do this.
Why you want to see?
Pull this up. Oh, y'all heard in the background. Joy. That translation of the Shema. I am going to have to send it to you. I'll post it. I'll post it in down at the bottom after today's video. Jerry, peace and blessings. Levon. Hey girl, hey. Okay, y'all. Tootie baby is here. She came in our room last night. Well, she didn't come. We had to get her. We got the kids a separate room, right? She wasn't having it. All right, y'all. Chapter 15, Caesar's Messiah. Where we at? What time we at? Y'all gotta go. I know it's 8:38. Where y'all are at?
Be on time tomorrow.
Be on time tomorrow. The name of chapter 15 is The Apostles and the Maccabees. Okay. Hold on. Let me see how. That's what I was looking for. The Maccabees. Shamaya. Hey, girl. Hey. Hold on. Oh, we ain't gonna finish this chapter today, y'all. Okay. All right. Chapter 15, page 353. The Apostles and the Maccabees. My analysis revealed that the apostles John and Simon in the New Testament were lampoons of Jewish militants described by Josephus, which turned these leaders of the Jewish rebellion into Christians. Therefore, I attempted to determine if other distortions of history, either in the New Testament or Wars of the Jews, had been used in the creation of Christianity. The first thing that struck me after the beginning of this inquiry was that there were simply too many characters in both works with the same names: Simon, John, Judas, Eleazar or Lazarus, Matthias, which is Matthew, Joseph, Mary, and Jesus. If you consult the Dictionary of Scripture proper names in Webster's Unabridged, you will find hundreds of Hebrew first names. Notably, in both Josephus and the New Testament, the same few Jewish names proliferate. In Wars of the Jews, there are 9 Eleazars, 3 Jacobs or James, 3 of them, 6 Jesuses, 5 Matthews, 1 Mary, 4 Miriams, 8 Johns, 7 Josephs, 10 Judases, and 13 Simons. In the New Testament, the same pattern occurs. There are 7 Marys, 9 Simons, 2 Johns, 2 Josephs, 4 Judases, 2 Lazaruses, 2 Matthews, 2 Jameses, and the minimum of 3 Jesuses, right? If you want to hear for when we was going through the different Jesuses, you probably should go back. I forget what day it is, probably like 4 days ago. From the standpoint of probability, it is unlikely that this set of names would even overlap in 2 works that have so few named characters, let alone with this many duplications. I suspected that the authors of the New Testament and the works of Josephus had deliberately used these particular names over and over. But if these particular names were used deliberately, what was the intent? The answer lies in the fact that this same set of names was known to have been used by a third group, the Maccabees, the family that ruled Israel during the 1st and 2nd centuries BCE until they were replaced by the Romans with Herod. Within that family are found the same names that are so overused by Josephus in the New Testament. The founder of the dynasty was Matthew, who had 5 sons named Simon, Judas, John, Eleazar or Lazarus, and Jonathan. Quote, now at this time there was one whose name was Matthias, who dwelt in Modin, the son of John, the son of Simon, the son of Asmoneus, a priest in the order of Jorib, and a citizen of Jerusalem. He had 5 sons, John, who was called Gaddis, and Simon, who was called Matthias, and Judas, who was called Maccabeus, and Eleazar, who was called Aran, and Jonathan, who was called Aphis. Now this Matthias lamented to his children the sad state of their affairs, and the ravage made in the city, and the plundering of the temple, and the calamities the multitude were under. And he told them that it was better for them to die for the laws of their country than to live so ingloriously as they then did. End quote. And that's reference 216 in the back. And Josephus also claims to be an ancestor of the Maccabees by way of a daughter of Simon, son of Matthias, who was mentioned above. In charting his lineage, Josephus records that his branch of the family alternated the names of the males every other generation. Josephus's father's name was Matthias, while his grandfather had been named Josephus, etc. Therefore, the male names used multiple times in the New Testament were almost exactly the same as those Josephus said were used by the males of the Maccabee family. These names are Joseph, Judas, Simon, Eleazar or Lazarus, John, and Matthias, which is Matthew. It is interesting that Jesus, like the son of Matthias, the founder of the Maccabean dynasty, was also said to be one of the 5 sons. Notice how some of the names in Jesus' family are Maccabean. Quote, is this not the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary, and his brethren James and Joseph and Simon and Judas? End quote. That's Matthew 13:55. The Maccabees were the creators of the Judea that Rome destroyed. For 376 years, from Zerubbabel to Jonathan Maccabeus, 537 to 161 BCE, there had been only a negligible Jewish state. Many writers of this era were not even aware of the existence of Judea. The Greek historian Herodotus painstakingly exact in his documentation of the nations and people of the known world refers to only the Syrians of Philistia, which is Palestine, when he describes the area. But the embers of a Jewish national identity were never completely extinguished, and in the 2nd century BCE, The Maccabean family became the leaders of a movement that brought Eretz Israel, or the land of Israel, back into existence. The Maccabees conquered the territories of Samaria, Galilee, Edom, and Moab, and the cities of Gadara, Pella, Gersa, Gamala, and Gaza. The inhabitants of the area of the Maccabees conquered were forced to convert to Judaism, and the males were circumcised. Those who refused were executed. The reign of the Maccabees ended in 37 BCE when Herod, with Roman support, defeated Matthias, Antigonus, the last Maccabean king of Israel. The original Herod was not a Jew, but an Edomite Arab. His authority was challenged by the religiously zealous Jews who believed in the maintenance of a separate racial identity. Whoso marries an Aramaean woman, the zealots lynch him. Oh, that was a quote. Quote, whosoever marries an Aramaean woman, the zealots lynch him. End quote. And that's reference 217. The people of Israel dubbed Herod the Edomite slave, referring both to his slavish relationship with Rome and to his non Jewish background. To many Jews, Herod and his descendants were thus unacceptable as the kings of Israel. Josephus describes a messianic movement that he calls the fourth philosophy, which was begun by Judas the Galilean in the same year that Jesus was purportedly born, who led a rebellion against the Herods in Rome that continued until the fall of the Judean fortress Masada in 73 CE. As Josephus relates it, most of the leaders of this philosophy had Maccabean names and in many instances were related to one another. For example, in addition to Judas the Galilean, who was credited with creating the fourth philosophy, Josephus lists someone named Eleazar as the person who actually starts the war. John and Simon were the names of the Jewish tyrants who controlled the rebels during the siege of Jerusalem. The movement ends at Masada when the Sakari destroyed themselves under the leadership of someone also named Eleazar, who was also identified as a descendant of Judas the Galilean. Josephus records the name of the leaders of the Jewish rebellion at its onset in 66 CE. Josephus' list continues the pattern of overusing Maccabean names and includes a John, a Matthias, an Eleazar, which is Lazarus, a Simon, and a Joseph himself. Notably, there is also a Jesus. Quote, they also chose other generals for Idumea, Jesus, the son of Cephias, one of the high priests, the Eleazar, the son of Ananias, and the high priest, I'm sorry, the son of Ananias, the high priest. They also enjoined Niger, the then governor of Idumea, who was of a family that belonged to Perea beyond Jordan, and was thence called the Perite, that he should be obedient to those four named commanders. Nor did they neglect the care of other parts of the country, but Joseph, the son of Simon, was sent as general to Jericho, and was Manasseh to Pera, as was Manasseh to Perea, and John the Iscu to the toparchy of Thama. Lydda was also added to his portion, and Joppa and Emmaus. But John, the son of Matthias, was made governor of the toparchies of Gophnitica and Acrabatine, as was Josephus, the son of Matthias, of both the Galilees. Gamala also, which was the strongest city in those parts, was put under his command. End quote. And that's reference 218. Because the Maccabees were the royal family Herod defeated and were religious zealots, it is logical that they would have been the focus of those zealous Jews who rebelled against Herod's rule. Herod is also recorded as systematically killing members of the Maccabean family. It seemed to me, based on their persistent use of Maccabean names, that the family of Judas the Galilean was descended from the Maccabees, though this is not recorded by Josephus or in any other extant history. I have yet another reason for reaching this conclusion. The discovery of the true identity of the apostles John and Simon, as well as the original Messiah, Eleazar, has shown me that Josephus could deliberately have obfuscated their true identities to create the historical confusion in which Christianity was grafted onto the Sakari movement. Therefore, if Josephus had omitted recording the fact that the family of Judas the Galilean was descended from the Maccabees, he would simply have been continuing this intentional obfuscation. Josephus and the authors of the New Testament turned Maccabean family, members of which had led the first century revolt against Rome, into the apostles and the family of Jesus, the Messiah of peace, whom Rome had invented to replace the warrior Messiah of Maccabean Judaism. I suspect that within first century Judea, the Maccabean family was regarded as messianic and was similar to what is called a caliphate throughout the Islamic world today. Caliph meaning successor in Arabic. Such a family needed to have a way of identifying its members, particularly its successors. The purpose of the overuse of Maccabean names ad absurdum in Josephus and the New Testament was to interfere with this process and, in the confusion, to graft Christianity onto the movement that centered on that family. The fact that there were messianic families in first century Judea is borne out by a quote from Eusebius citing an earlier work by Hegesippus. Yeah, I think that's how you say that name, Hegesippus. Quote, Vespasian, after the capture of Jerusalem, issued an order to ensure that no one who was of the royal stock should be left among the Jews, that all the descendants of David should be ferreted out, and for this reason, a further widespread persecution was again inflicted upon the Jews. End quote. And that's reference 219. The previous quote shows that the Romans were indeed trying to eradicate at least one messianic family. Notice that the Messiah, who was a problem for the Romans, was identified as Jewish. Destroying the family from which this Messiah was spawned is described as a continuation of the persecutions of the Jews. This shows that Rome oppressed a Jewish, not a Christian, messianic movement in the first century CE, supporting the contention that Rome saw the family of Judas, the Galilean, as part of this messianic problem, is that Josephus records that the anticipation of the world ruler or messianic prophecies were not what most stirred the masses to revolt, and that the only family specifically targeted for destruction by the Romans was the family of Judas the Galilean. Notice in the following passage that Judas's sons are named James and Simon, just as two of the apostles. Quote, and besides this, the sons of Judas of Galilee were now slain. I mean, of that Judas who caused the people to revolt when Cyrenius came to take an account of the estates of the Jews, as we have showed in a foregoing book. The names of those sons were named James and Simon, whom Alexander commanded to be crucified. End quote. That's reference 220. How is that low? Hold on one second, y'all. Uh-oh. I'm on 20%. Uh-oh. Facebook still recording. Okay. My phone about to die. 20%. Okay. Josephus also records that Judas's descendant Eleazar was in charge of the Sakari at Masada in 70 CE when the fourth philosophy was finally destroyed. It seems clear that a family that had led messianic revolutionaries generation after generation would have been the family from whom a Messiah would be expected. The passage above suggests that the Zealots saw the family of Judas the Galilean as a messianic family. However, the Maccabees were of the seed of Aaron and not of the family of David. If the family of Judas the Galilean were descendants of the Maccabees and therefore of Aaron, how could they have been seen as messianic by the Jewish rebels? Though the son of David has come to be the Messiah's epithet in both the Talmud and the New Testament in the first and second century CE, many Jews look to a Messiah other than the one coming from the family of David. Rabbi Akiba, for example, believed that Bar Kokhba, the revolutionary Jewish leader of the second century CE, was the true Messiah, though nowhere was it claimed that he was of the house of David. More important is the fact that found among the Dead Sea Scrolls were two works, the Damascus document and Community Rule, both of which describe a sect that looked forward to see the appearance of Messiah. In both works, this coming Messiah is described as a member of the family of Aaron. Quote, this is the exact statement of the statuses in which they shall walk until the coming of the Messiah of Aaron and Israel, who will pardon their iniquity. They shall depart from none of the counsels of the law until there shall come the prophet and the Messiahs of Aaron and Israel. End quote. And that's reference 221 for that first sentence. And the last sentence is reference 222. Each work also refers to the family of Aaron in a way that shows it to be in a position of leadership. Quote, but God remembered the covenant with the forefathers and raised from Aaron of men discernment. Reference 223. The sons of Aaron alone shall command in matters of justice and property. Reference 222. The authors of the New Testament were all aware that the Messiah did not need to be of the family of David. Jesus is quoted as stating exactly that. Quote, how is it that the scribes say that the Christ is the son of David? For David himself said by the Holy Ghost, the Lord said to my Lord, sit thou on my right hand till I make thine enemies thy footstool. David therefore himself calleth him the Messiah, Lord. How then can he be his son? End quote. And that's found in Mark chapter 12, verses 35 through 37. That Jesus stated that the Messiah need not be of the family of David should not be surprising, because Jesus himself was not of that family. The Gospels of Matthew and Luke trace completely different versions of Jesus's family of David genealogy through his father Joseph, who of course was not his father at all, a fact well known to the authors of the Gospels, because according to them, he was born of the Holy Spirit and a virgin. Given the fact that the family of Aaron was considered messianic by many Jews of this era, and that the Maccabean dynasty was the royal Jewish family of this era and was the house of Aaron, it is probable that zealots would have seen the Maccabees as the family from which the Messiah of Aaron would appear. If this theory is correct, then the messianic movement of the first century Judea developed as a reaction against Rome, which had ousted the Maccabees and placed them with their puppets, the family of Herod. The struggle of the first century Judea was akin to many in medieval Europe, in that it involved an ousted royal family seeking to return to power, a foreign government propping up an unpopular king, and a dispute over religion. Jewish zealots, hoping to restore the Maccabean family, focused on those parts of their scripture that they believed prophesied God's sending a Messiah who would restore Israel to a sovereign Jewish state. The book of Daniel, which does not specify which earthly family the Messiah was to come from, would have seemed especially apt because it foresees a son of God who helps to restore Israel after a series of tribulations. The Zealots applied these prophecies to the Maccabees, the Roman authors of Wars of the Jews, in order to transform the Maccabees from the Messianic family of Jews into the founding family of Christianity, created an official history, the Wars of the Jews, that contains an undifferentiated clump of individuals with Maccabean names. These individuals are described variously as robbers and false prophets. One of the purposes of the Wars of the Jews, therefore, was to obscure the real history of the five sons of Matthias. Then the Gospels graph Jesus and his four brothers, named Judas, Simon, Joseph, and James, his father named Joseph, and his mother named Mary, as well as his followers named Simon, Judas, John, Eleazar, and Matthew, onto the history of the Maccabean family. By creating so many characters with Maccabean names, the authors of the New Testament and Wars of the Jews sought to fool the uneducated into believing that Christianity had originated within the Maccabean family. This symbolic grafting of Christianity onto the messianic tradition of the Maccabees was mirrored by an effort to physically graft the Herodian family onto the Maccabees. That's reference 225 in the back. Herod married Miriam, a direct descendant of Matthias, the founder of the Maccabean dynasty. After she bore him four children, Herod executed her and her brother, thereby ensuring that only his Maccabean children would remain. Throughout his works, Josephus is very careful to avoid making any mention of the Messiah. He uses the word only twice, both times in conjunction with Jesus, and never explains exactly the term. And never explains exactly what the term means. Josephus mentions numerous messianic figures without ever referring to them as a Messiah or a Christ, calling them instead false prophets, robbers, or charlatans. For example, Josephus uses these pejorative secular terms with a character named Theudas, C 45 CE. No doubt the name Theudas mentioned in the New Testament, who promised to lead his followers over dry shod like Joshua before Jericho. In other words, he claimed to be able to part the water like Moses. Clearly, he was an individual operating within a religious framework and not simply, as Josephus describes him, as a robber. Josephus is reworking history again, this time excluding it from the messianic aspirants who had led revolts against Rome during the first century CE. He uses the name switching trick to transform messiahs into robbers. He is again making it difficult to trace the lineage of the real messianic family. The only messianic lineage remaining after 70 CE, according to the New Testament and Josephus, is that of Jesus, who, after endorsing Rome, left the planet. Even when Josephus applies a messianic prophecy to Vespasian, he does not refer to the prophet directly, but rather to the vision of some ambiguous oracle. I will argue that Josephus's avoidance of the specific prophecies that predict the Messiah, as well as those of the term itself, is an example of how he deliberately blurs the history of Judaism so that Christianity can, in the confusion, claim the history as its own. In this case, he has blurred the identity and intent of the Maccabean messianic aspirants of this era, leaving only the Messiah of Christianity visible. With his description of the death of Eleazar, a descendant of Judas the Galilean, at Masada in 73 CE, Josephus hoped not only to wipe from history the truth of the family that had stirred such opposition to Rome, but actually to use its individuals and history as the rock upon the new religion would be built. The transformation of Simon and John above is just part of a deception on a huge scale, encompassing not just the history of a family, but also of an entire religion for more than a century. Christianity is the Sakari movement of Judas the Galilean, deliberately blurred and transformed. The Romans transformed the history of the cult of the militant Maccabean Messiah into the history of Christianity. Robert Eisman has pointed out a number of overlaps between the Sakari movement and Christianity during the second half of the first century CE. Both were messianic movements, both were in Judea during the same time period, and both have engaged in missionary activities. More important is Eisman's claim that the word Sakarios itself may be a quasi anagram and a possible pejorative in Greek for the word Christian from Sakari would fit perfectly into the pattern of creating Christianity out of the Sakari movement. Josephus describes numerous Eleazars in the Wars of the Jews. I believe that attributes of the hold on, let me go back. I believe that attributes of these Eleazars, together with those of Lazarus in the New Testament, are intended to reveal the identity of the true Messiah. What it's telling is, uh-oh, my phone charging. Let's see. What it's telling is these Eleazars are so often described as the leaders of a messianic movement. Josephus begins this by stating that an Eleazar was responsible for the true beginning of the war. Quote, I don't know, this might tip over. Let's see. Uh-oh. I don't even know if that's charging. We'll see. Okay. Quote, at the same time, Eleazar, the son of Ananias, the high priest, a very bold youth who was at that time governor of the temple, persuaded those that officiated in the divine service to receive no gift or sacrifice for any foreigner. And this was a true beginning of our war with the Romans, for they rejected the sacrifice of Caesar on this account. End quote. And that's reference 227. In the passage below, notice that another Eleazar is described as the nephew of Simon the tyrant. Uh-oh. Hold on, y'all. I think I got it. I just can't do any sudden movements. I'm about to end it anyway. Hold on. Okay, Sudie. In the passage below, notice that another Eleazar is described as the nephew of Simon the tyrant, who I have identified as the Apostle Simon. This supports the contention that a messianic family led the Jewish rebellion, and the identities of those family members were transformed into apostles and Jesus. Quote, of the seditious, those that had fought bravely in the former battles did the like now, as besides them did Eleazar, the brother's son of Simon the tyrant. But when Titus perceived that his endeavors to spare a foreign temple turned to the damage of his soldiers and then be killed, he gave order to set the gates on fire. End quote. And that's reference 228. We're gonna I'm trying to see a good place to pause this. Hold on. I think it'll be after this right here. This next quote. Okay. We'll be done in a couple minutes. Okay. Josephus identifies a Simon and a Judas as the sons of Jairus, and Eleazar is also identified as a member of this family. The Eleazar, who is a tyrant at Masada and a descendant of Judas the Galilean, is also identified as a relative of Simon the tyrant, the apostle Simon above. Quote, a few of them who privately escaped to Masada, among whom was Eleazar, the son of Jairus, who was of kin to Mahanaim, and acted the part of a tyrant at Masada afterward. And that's the end quote, reference 229. This establishes the family of Jairus as part of the family of Judas the Galilean, the true messianic family, and connects the apostles to the family of Judas the Galilean, which connects the apostles to the family of Jairus that is found in the New Testament. The hopelessly cross-connected genealogy described above is difficult to follow. The overlay complex genealogies in the New Testament and Josephus serve both to prevent the uneducated from understanding them as parodies of the Jews. As parodies of the Jews, and to expand the general confusion over who the real members of the Maccabean family were, the confusion into which Christianity was inserted. While Josephus has purposely made the genealogies difficult to follow, they were constructed to reveal to the alert reader that the characters in the New Testament and Wars of the Jews were not only the same individuals, but are all members of the same family. All right, y'all. We're gonna pause right here today because the Facebook keep going in and out. And there's something new that's popping up here, up in my corner. I don't know, it might be an update that Facebook is doing. All right, beautiful people. So we're gonna pause right here. And we'll pick this up tomorrow. And we'll be on time because I'm gonna fix my alarm clocks. I gotta set them an hour ahead to make sure I'm on the same time Eastern that I've been doing it. Right now I'm in Midwest, so we are an hour behind my normal time. So that's why we were late today, y'all. So forgive me, a whole hour late. And I realized I can do posts now on YouTube. So I made like a community post and told y'all why I was late. Sorry, everybody. All right, y'all. So today it is Friday, October the 15th, 2021. It is day 279 of year 3 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets and of the 3-year consecutive day count, day 948. We read Job 37, 38, and 39. And we picked up in Caesar's Messiah, starting in chapter 15 on page 353 all the way to page 363 today. All right, y'all. Hold on, put it. Come on.
Yeah, I at the hotel.
Look, you're at the hotel. Okay, let's do the blessing real quick.
Yep.
Let's pull this up. Yes, we're going to get something to eat.
Not going somewhere.
We're going to go downstairs and eat. Yeah. Okay. We'll go downstairs and eat. Let's see what they got. If we don't like what they got, we're going to go somewhere and get some breakfast. All right, y'all. Remember the blessing is found in Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. Remember I don't know that book. Remember the
light on?
Yeah, that's the light on and off. Remember the first 21 verses is the Nazarite vow. Man or woman can take it. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, on this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, may Yahuwah bless us. Oh, I'm jumping down. Hold on. Yahuwah will kneel before us, presenting gifts, and will guard us with a hedge of protection. Yahuwah will illuminate the wholeness of his being towards us, bringing order, and he will provide us with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yahuwah will lift up his wholeness of being and look upon us, and he will set in place all we need to be whole and complete. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. And if y'all are very familiar with the blessing,
then we'll pull that out
I
in
skipped the
Jeremiah.
whole note. Hold on. Y'all are, if y'all read it from the King James Version, y'all probably are familiar with this version, which is still a good version, right? And that's what we read for like the first 3 years up until a couple months ago. Wait a minute, Pooh.
Mommy, blow you a kiss.
She blew you a kiss. She said, "Hey, Bella Bella."
Hi, Nani.
And it goes like this. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his son, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, May Yahuwah bless us and keep us. May Yahuwah make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon us and give us peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. Both versions are still good, but I like the most recent one we've been doing because it's a little more intimate, and it helps you understand it just a little bit more. All right, beautiful people. Let me check real quick for questions on Facebook. Okay. Jerry said, "Can we please ask, do you believe in spirit guides?" No. I know people talk about them, but the only spirit that guides me is Yahweh. I know other people do. And they do get some activity. They really do. They get some activity from the unseen realm when they do that. But I don't go looking for spirit guides. I let them do what they do. I follow y'all. Right? Okay. All right, that's it. A.N. Dixon, shalom, shalom. Yesef, shalom. All right, beautiful people. Love y'all. See y'all back here tomorrow morning. We're going to be on time, Eastern time, which means I got to get up an hour earlier. I'll be going live from Midwest at 6:15 a.m. While it's going to be, if y'all in Eastern time, 7:15 a.m. And now we got people from the UK too and other places. So whatever time, I didn't even look at y'all time. Y'all, I know it's afternoon already in other places like the UK, I believe. I forget. But anyway, y'all, that's it. Trina said your hair is cute. Say thank you.
Thank you.
Messing with the lights, girl. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I see y'all back here tomorrow, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I'll be on Midwest time. All right, y'all. Love y'all. Peace. Turn off the lights. Oh, Yesef is in the UK. Okay, UK in the house.
Gonna come there one day.
Yeah, we're gonna have to visit the UK soon. Well, I don't know. We'll sometime. Cut me off.